Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, one Eastern Kentucky restaurant is working to rebuild after a fire. Plus, President Trump's trade policies bring economic uncertainty. More about the impact of tariffs and the latest retaliation from Canada.
And we had wall-to-wall sunshine for today. That trend will continue for a couple days, but there's a change somewhere in the 7-day. Details coming up.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Investors are reacting to President Donald Trump's promise of tariffs and his comment over the weekend that he could not rule out the possibility of a recession. CBS's Erica Brown has the latest from the White House.
Markets tumbled Monday with uncertainty over potential trade wars sparked by President Trump's tariff threats, making investors nervous. Trump administration officials say better days for the economy are coming.
I think that we're pretty close to having the uncertainty behind us, and as you know, when that happens, then the economy really lifts off.
Trump has paused some tariffs against Canada and Mexico while he's threatening taxes on Canadian dairy and lumber.
I think the tariffs are going to be the greatest thing we've ever done as a country.
Canada is already striking back, with the Ontario government putting a 25% surcharge on electricity exports. Canadian officials say it will impact about 1.5 million homes and businesses in Michigan, Minnesota, and New York, costing an estimated $400,000 a day. Trump's tax threats had a big impact on party leadership elections in Canada. The Labour Party chose economist and former bank executive Mark Carney to replace Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
We didn't ask for this fight, but Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. So the Americans, they should make no mistake, in trade as in hockey, Canada will win.
Greenland is holding its parliamentary elections Tuesday amid Trump's play to make the island part of the U.S., saying in his address to Congress, one way or the other, the U.S. will get Greenland.
I think it's important to say that the election here shouldn't be something that other countries are affecting. It should be something that is completely up to us.
Polls show the majority of Greenlanders do not want to become a part of the United States, and they now want independence from Denmark as well. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
The British Broadcasting Corporation reported that one poll found 85% of Greenlanders do not wish to become part of the United States, with nearly half seeing President Trump as a threat. There's apparently more seating available in Virginia's Christian churches. According to Pew Research, the percentage of people in the Old Dominion state who identify as Christians fell to 62% in 2024. That's an 11% drop compared to a decade ago. University of Virginia sociology professor Brad Wilcox says several factors caused this dip, including fewer couples getting married and having kids. 5 people are recovering from injuries after the small plane they were riding in crashed yesterday in Pennsylvania. Police tell CNN the plane crashed in Manheim Township near the city of Lancaster shortly after taking off from Lancaster Airport. The plane burst into flames after it crashed. No one on the ground was hurt, but the flames from the plane damaged roughly a dozen vehicles. An environmental group targeted by the Justice Department over a federal grant is suing a bank and the Trump administration for access to its money. The nonprofit Climate United Fund says the money is still locked down. The group sued the administration to unfreeze a $7 billion federal grant awarded by the Biden administration using money Congress appropriated. The U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to review a Colorado law that bans mental health professionals from practicing conversion therapy on minors. Conversion therapy is a discredited practice that tries to change a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. In 2022, Kaylee Childs, a licensed counselor, challenged the law barring conversion therapy under the First Amendment. She claimed that patients voluntarily seek out her services. Vatican officials say Pope Francis had another peaceful night in the hospital and is resting. They say he is eating solids and continuing motor and respiratory therapy prescribed by doctors. He gets oxygen through a mask at night and high-flow oxygen therapy through the nose during the day.
Well, I hope you guys are surviving the first Monday after daylight saving time. We had plenty of sunshine today. Temperatures right now in the low to mid 60s. McCreary County checking in with 63 degrees. Low humidity, low dew point made it to 67 earlier today. That wind is staying out of the northwest around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Live pinpoint Doppler radar. All is quiet throughout the entire WYMT viewing area, and this will be the story for tomorrow. Going into the day on Wednesday, we'll stay clear throughout the evening and overnight hours. We'll see temperatures in the low to mid 60s by 7 o'clock. By 1 a.m., 48 degrees, and then upper 30s and low 40s when you wake up in the morning. But there is a rain and thunderstorm chance somewhere on the 7-day, and we'll talk about that in the first alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thank you. A man is behind bars after hiding meth from police in Laurel County. The Laurel County Sheriff says deputies were looking for 35-year-old James Steins Friday, who was wanted on an indictment warrant. Officials say after receiving a tip, they found Steins and tried to arrest him. That's when deputies say he threw a bag of meth between two objects and tried to run away. Steins is charged with possession of meth, resisting arrest, and tampering with evidence. 2 people were taken to the hospital after a crash yesterday. Officials with the Somerset Fire Department say they were called to a 2-vehicle crash near traffic light 22. Officials say 2 people were hurt. Both were taken to the hospital. There's no word on their conditions. FEMA says crews are visiting eastern Kentucky neighborhoods to help people hit hardest by the recent flooding. A news release says crews will be at disaster-affected areas to help homeowners and renters apply for assistance. Officials say FEMA teams will never ask for money and will also wear an official badge with a photograph attached. To apply, you can go to your local relief center, and there are several now across the region. You can also call, go online, or use the mobile app. And there is now a disaster recovery center open at the old courthouse in Harlan County. There will be people from FEMA, the Red Cross, the Small Business Administration, along with others stationed there. The center is open to help those displaced from the flood in February or anyone who has damage. The center will be open every day for the next few weeks. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a new study reveals gamblers are spending thousands of dollars yearly. We have expert tips to keep your wagers in check.
And sunglasses will be needed tomorrow as well. Details coming up.